It's showtime.
They are WATP.
WATP.
Google it.
Let me look it up.
Rubber Dixie Customers. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that makes fun of Stuttering John. I'm your host, Carl. With me today, the apartment boss himself, Anthony Cumia.
Welcome. Love you.
And the woman who made sure he got here in time, Missy B. Woo. And of course, we don't say it enough, producer Chris is here, everybody.
Yes.
Please go to whoarethese.com. You get our email address, voicemail number, link to the subreddit, link to the Discord server, link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and then link to Patreon and Supercast, featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every single month. And, except for today, you can watch live when we do our podcast.
He's been doing this since he was 18.
Well, actually, just, since I was 38, but... Tickets are on sale for the Dick Show crossover in Philadelphia, April 22nd. Go to live.dick.show for tickets. They are selling, and it's a very cool venue that we're going to be at.
Philly Crew.
Yeah, we got the Philly Crew's going to come out.
Philly Crew.
They don't really like what we're talking about.
I know,
The
dude.
Philly Crew's giving me some vibes. Also, we encourage our listeners to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and then shit all over us in the comments section. Hannah was here yesterday, but not today, so I guess Cardiff will be reading reviews for us today.
Equally sexy.
But first, we'll be reviewing Stuttering John on the Howard Stern Show. This is something we have not done, well, not extensively anyway. Maybe we played a clip here or there. But what's fascinating to me as I've learned more and more about Stuttering John is that he's always been this asshole. And it's funny because the first time I ever made fun of Stuttering John's show, I said, guys, I'm a fan of Stuttering John. I played some of his interview questions. I'm like, he was great on the Stern Show. Then you go back and you realize he never had talent. He was never good at anything. And thank God for Howard Stern for understanding that he was dealing with a nothing. And Tom Chiasano realized they were dealing with a nothing. And so what I want to present to you, and Iso's got the videos back there. Thank God I'm not running video today. You're welcome.
Remember last time.
We know how that went. This is Howard Stern track number 1. This is Howard Stern telling Stuttering John how funny he is.
First of all, regarding you, Stuttering John, you are a guy who perceives himself as funny. When you go on the Ricky Lake show, when you go on the Last Call show, when you do these shows,
who's that guy?
when you go on the Conan show, you turn to people inevitably afterwards and you go, hey, was I funny? I'm going to tell you something about yourself. You are the least funny person I've ever met. You are not funny. You're obnoxious. You're not funny.
So Howard's explaining what we all now know. When John tries to be funny, he's not funny.
Never.
But when his green screen falls down or bugs are crawling on him, hilarious.
You won't see anything funnier.
Yeah, the funniest thing on the internet.
What an odd position to be in.
Yeah, it sucks,
It's like you
doesn't
made
it?
a deal with the devil that never works out quite
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be famous and I want people to laugh at what I do.
It's like he got a monkey paw. Maybe that's why his hand's like that. He got one of those monkey paws.
I wish for a monkey paw.
It never works out quite right.
Monkey paw has cleaner nails.
Yeah. I'd rather eat a bologna sandwich from a monkey paw.
And a monkey ear and a monkey red ass.
All right, my track number 2, this is Howard explaining that John comes off as obnoxious when he's trying to be funny.
All right. I'll tell you what's funny about you. You stutter. When you go on TV and you try to be me, it's not funny.
All right.
It comes off obnoxious.
Okay.
It's a very fine line. You are funny when you are yourself. When you start to talk about yourself, there is a certain naivete about you that is interesting, that is heartwarming,
stupid.
and that is funny when you start to stammer about your life.
Okay.
When you go on the air and you run around like Howard, and you look like you're doing a bad Howard impression, you are not funny.
Okay.
So afterwards, when you come off these shows and you say to me, was I funny? Or you say to Jackie, was I funny? That's funny. Because you're so insecure, you're funny. You're being you. When you go on these shows and you're me, and you're yelling at people, and you're stuttering, and You lose your charm. Now, here's the other thing you ought to learn about yourself. You don't take criticism well. You don't listen.
Wow.
Fucking nailing it. This is the mid-90s. This guy saw this back then and was going, hey, idiot, you're not funny, and you're not listening to anyone who's telling you you're not funny. You should pay attention to that. It's amazing.
Carl, this is what
Nostradamus.
this is what you've been trying to accomplish.
Yes.
WATP has been trying to accomplish exactly what he's been
Right.
always
and
saying.
and you saw John there. He's not listening. He's not paying attention. In fact, I bet he was high-fiving guys in the back room. I got on the air today. Yeah, I did 40 minutes on the air today.
He's like, yes, I'm an idiot, yes. Whatever Howard says.
All right, now look, we're all Howard fans here, but this is where Howard loses me. If you play by track number 3, like sometimes he gets up on his high horse and acts like he's a different person than he actually is.
His high horse Beth?
You know why I've been on top for so long? If a postal worker came up to me and told me you had a good idea, I would actually listen to it. I would actually entertain it. Because I don't consider myself better than a postal worker.
Howard wouldn't make eye contact with a postal worker. Are you kidding me?
No shit.
You're not allowed to see him in the hallway at Sirius XM. There's no fucking way he's talking to the little people.
I worked there for 10 years. I never saw Howard.
You're not allowed
We
to.
were on the same time.
Yeah.
I came up in the elevator sometimes with Fred or Gary or something, and I never saw Howard in 10 years. They brought him up like it was he was radioactive.
Yeah.
Just don't look at him, don't see him.
But that's Howard telling John, hey, you got to listen to what everyone's opinion is of you and
yeah.
try to figure it out. All right, Howard, if you say so. All right, this is where track number 4, Howard really drives it home that John is not funny. I hope he learns from this.
The truth, do you think you're funny? Do you think you're a funny person?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
You're not.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm funny. Are you?
So he thinks he's a funny guy, obviously. And my track number 5, this really sums up this whole weekend. Howard explains this perfectly. And remember, again, this is 30 years ago. He describes it perfectly.
I'm sure.
Let me ask you, do you see yourself as funny? Do you think you're funny?
But see, I'm not supposed to say. No,
You can say whatever you want. I'm
Say what
asking
you feel.
I mean,
I'm trying to help you now.
I thought you thought I was funny.
No. You are funny when I tell you what to say, and you're yourself, and you're genuine, and you stammer. That's funny.
So you're saying I should be more
In other words,
genuine?
you would never be a stand-up comedian.
Oh!
You try to be funny, you come off obnoxious.
Okay.
When you're yourself. If Conan O'Brien asks you a question, he says, John, what's it like when you ask these people these horrible questions?
Yeah.
And many times you'll say, gee, Howard puts the words in my mouth, or Jackie and Fred put the words in my mouth, and I'm embarrassed, or whatever your genuine feeling is, and then all of a sudden you start to stutter, and you go, whoa. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. People are laughing at you, not with you.
Yes! Yes!
Yes, I understand.
It's fun to watch you.
Nailed it.
30 years
That's
ago.
what's funny.
John, we're laughing at you, not with you. That couldn't be more clear from Howard Stern, who hired that man so that they could all laugh at him.
30 years ago, he knew.
He knew it that long ago.
And John has been not being funny for 30 years.
And
he didn't take the advice.
And Anthony, the thing that I've realized, and I've been talking about this recently as we've been going through Stuttering John's book, easy for you to say, the talent that Howard Stern has to make these nothings interesting
Oh, yeah.
is unbelievable.
That's always been the talent over there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable because
Whack pack.
you see Grillo after he doesn't work at the Stern Show anymore. You're like, who gives a fuck about this guy? But
He still texts me.
no, he's great. He's the best. Hope he comes on the show soon. But this is track number 6 is an example of how Howard makes John, who's just sitting there like an idiot, interesting.
I still came up.
Why don't you rape me? Do me a favor. I'm going to pull my pants down here. Put it in.
over.
Go ahead. Come on, rape me now. Come on,
my
do it to me
God.
now. Don't do
Rape.
it. Don't give me slow rape. Do it to me now. Just give it to me. I've been bad to you, right? Come on. Come on, Howard. Here it is.
Howard,
Here it is. Take it now. Rape me now.
Are you kidding me?
Come on. Put the probe in.
Howard, you know.
Go ahead. Take my temperature.
Howard.
Goodbye.
Howard.
Goodbye.
The good old days.
See how that's funny.
Good shit back then, man.
Howard's like, oh, this bit's not going nowhere. I better pull my pants down.
Tell John to rape me.
And he was
Fucking
right.
Awesome.
And he was right. But I bet John was a great call screener. Because what Howard was saying is he's not good as a guest on shows. He couldn't be a stand-up. But he must be good at call screening. My track number 19 is some information about John as a call screener.
It's like the whole system doesn't work anyway. You're a total jinx and a moron.
You know what? That wacky guy who you said you don't know why he came on? He's searching around for an implant for his brain.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Well, why did you slip me a note so I know?
Because I was writing it out when you picked it up for him.
Douchebag. That guy's been on hold for at least 5 minutes. I've been watching you do the phone.
Yeah, and I'm
You know what? The guy on the phone, the last call was right. I can't have someone screen the calls because I've got a moron screening the calls.
The last call I thought was good because he
It was good, but what do I know? You got to give me a note.
I'm writing them down, man.
You're not bright enough. You had that guy on hold for 5 minutes. I stalled for 5 minutes during the Ponce de Leon phone calls, waiting for you to slip me a note. You didn't. You're a total dolt.
Screening.
You're a loser. You're a loser.
You're a loser.
Your girlfriend's pregnant and you're a loser. Yeah?
You're a loser.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Loser. Go work for some winner.
Go home to mommy. Goodbye.
Well, that went well.
This is a guy who brags that he was not the call screener, but a writer. I was sending Howard notes and sending them jokes, and I was the call screener. He couldn't even get a note over to Howard to let him know who was on hold on the show.
Did you ever see his resume about what he does and what he did? He makes it sound like nothing could have gone on without him there.
No, it's the resume of Sam Simon. You think he was a showrunner for The Simpsons with his resumes. It's a creative force.
I've never heard anyone compliment John on his jobs. They just never have. There's not one clip of Howard going, wow, John, you really came to the table and did a great job. It's always, you're a dolt, you're an idiot, you're not funny. And that's why you're here.
I mean, he did give him really good advice that time.
He did.
To abort his child.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay, that one.
I didn't hear about that. Does John ever talk about that?
Yeah,
Not as
Howard
much as
had told
popcorn.
him. Howard told John he should abort his kid.
Yeah.
He's too stupid.
Yeah.
He's going to make a stupid kid.
Right. I mean, he can't even pull off being a call screener.
Yeah.
So being a father is going to be a difficult task.
Maybe if the hanger ripped off 2 tits. My kids.
Now, if you guys remember, Stuttering John got a job on K-Rock being the afternoon disc jockey.
Oh, God.
And for a while, he actually had a 4-hour shift as a disc jockey. Then he got fired because he sucks. Because he's not funny, and he's trying to be Howard Stern, he's obnoxious. But then they hire him again to do a noon shift, noon till 1. And then he gets fired again.
That's the dead shift, by the way.
Oh, it's a horrible shift.
In radio,
Yeah.
you give it to somebody that just doesn't know what they're doing.
Right, it doesn't matter. So K-Rock brings in this guy, Chuck Roast.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Doggy. Doggy. In 20 years, that's the most intelligent thing I've ever.
He's killing it.
Nailed it. Finally.
All right. So,
To Brother Wheeze.
is Weez here? Alan? All right, so if you play my track number 7, this is John got fired by the new K-Rock programming director, Chuck Roast. And Chuck's in the studio with Howard.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. and this is-
Wait. I don't think you understand what that fucking name means. Food names, 10 of them, 12 seconds, go.
We're going to have Chuck roast beef sandwiches tonight at the Dabby Awards. So play my track number 7. We'll see how this goes down.
I was promised that I would never get fired again.
How can you promise that?
I'll tell you exactly. Want to know, Gary?
Yeah, how do
You think I'm lying?
No,
How
just
do they
say, how do you
promise
promise
you
what they say?
I was fired once as a DJ here. I was a DJ for 2 years. I got fired.
Why did they make you a DJ in the first place?
Okay, no. This is a while back.
Did you have
Ooh, the arms are up.
I hear it out. I had a 4-hour show.
Right.
So I was fired. A year later, Steve pulled me aside. We want you to do a show from 12 to 1. I go, Steve, I'm not going to do it unless you guarantee I'm not getting fired. I go, I'm not going through that again.
No guarantee.
He said, you're not going to get fired again.
Steve didn't fire you.
That's right. He left.
So now I'm going through it again.
But do you have a contract that says you can never be fired?
No, it was a verbal thing that Steve and I agreed on. But I know Steve. That's why I knew. And Steve, yeah, but I'm sure Tom knew about that deal as well.
A verbal thing.
Yeah. John goes, I can't be fired. Like, that's not how employment works.
I'm impervious to fire.
Yeah. You guys told me you wouldn't fire me. That was a joke.
Imagine going into a job. It sounds like something Costanza would do.
Yeah, right.
I need you to guarantee I cannot be fired. We can't do that. How do you guarantee you can't be fired?
John's an idiot.
Unless you're me at this point.
All right, so now John explains that it's not his fault that his show sucked so bad. My track number 8, the programming director is right there in the room with them. Oh. And this is John explaining why it sucks.
My problem with a lot of the music here, Howard, is they play the same music over and over again.
Dude, don't you know anything about it? Did you learn anything about radio? Did you learn that the average listener doesn't listen for 4 hours? They listen for 15 minutes in a clip. And if they don't hear a song they like, they tune out.
Well, the other thing is, why do
What's the matter with you? Why do I assume you know anything?
There are so many hit songs to
You have a problem. I tell you, I'm going to get a radio station, let you program it. If you can get over one share, I'll
Howard, there are so many songs to choose from, and it's unfortunate that they choose from the same 2 songs.
John, you sound like a novice.
So John's thought was like, if I got to pick the songs, this would have been great.
Because that's how radio works.
That's how radio works.
And your requests are definitely taken seriously when you call and request a song. Yeah.
Right. So even back then, nothing was John's fault. Things just happened to him. And he was even promised he wouldn't be fired. And yet somehow, some way, they figured out a way to get him out of that gig.
Wouldn't he still have the job?
Yeah. Right. It's a good point.
Contract says, paragraph 3, sector 285.
Yeah.
I can't be.
Haven't they changed formats now too? So like from noon to 1, it's just like alternative rock for no reason.
No, the station went country, but John's like, can't be fired.
All right,
here's Soundgarden.
STP. All right, so the last section I want to play for us is Stuttering John's last day on the Howard Stern Show.
Oh.
So he put in his 2-week notice, and he's got his last day. It's going to be his triumphant victory lap on the air, because if you guys are paying attention to Easy For You to Say, what we're doing on our Patreon right now, John says, and I decided that I would go on air for that entire 2 weeks. Yeah. He was going to do Howard a favor.
Oh, yeah.
and go on air for him.
Give the fans what they want. What, did you shoot yourself? Kind of what they want.
So again, Howard Stern understanding what's happening here and everything that's going on with John getting hired by Jay Leno to be the announcer of the Tonight Show. It's a goof.
It's a goof.
It's a goof.
It's a joke.
So
he's a jerk off.
Track number 10, Howard explains that this is a revenge fuck from Jay Leno. That's all this is.
He knows it.
And plus, you know what Jay. And plus, you also know what Jay's doing. I mean, Jay's taking something that he never would have put on the air in the first place. If it wasn't for the fact that John was on our show, and never would have hired John ever.
So defeated.
Oh.
So basically, they didn't hire John Melendez. They hired Stuttering John from the Howard Stern Show. They were trying to get a younger demo. They were trying to hip the fucking show up a little bit.
It's like when you call a fat guy tiny.
Yes.
It's like, oh, the announcer for the Tonight Show is the stuttering guy. It's so preposterous.
Hilarious.
It's funny.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
Except for the stutterer is an idiot who thinks he earned the job.
Right. Yeah.
That's the twist.
Right. Yeah. The fucking M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. I'm actually a blithering idiot. We knew. That's not a twist, John.
So, it's not surprising at all.
First frame after the credits.
So what's great about this is that John didn't tell Howard he was offered this job, and he just put in his 2-week notice and quit. And Howard was pissed that he wouldn't come to him first and say, listen, I got an offer. You know, so at least they could like counter if they wanted to, or obviously they're not going to pay John $500,000 a year, and John knows that. But so this is track number 11. This is Howard explaining that he probably should have told him.
You know what I was talking about. I'm not going to go through it with you again. I said to you, I don't want to hear about your cockamamie schemes anymore.
Business.
That's right. I don't want it. The same what Tom's talking about. Not about if you. It's a big difference if you're leaving the show. Right. Come on, John. I'm talking about. You know what I didn't want to talk about? All your cockamamie, Stuttering John tour, your book, your this, your that, the other thing. I said talk to Gary, let him know, and I will talk to you on a case-by-case basis, or I'll tell Gary. When you were leaving the show, that's a whole different ball game, and you had no problem picking up the phone the day the contract was signed.
And those other...
Yeah. So basically what's happening here is John's constantly going, hey, can I go on? I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Hey, can I write a book? Hey, they're approaching me to make T-shirts. Can I do that? And I was going, stop talking to me, John. I don't want to talk about your bullshit anymore. The answer's no.
Irons in the fire.
Right, yes.
Making sure if something else pans out.
Yeah.
He was being paid like, what, $30,000 a year?
At that time, it was $85,000 a year.
From the Howard Stern show?
Yes, at the time that he left the show, yeah.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
Righteous bucks going on.
He's got some real insider information.
Yeah.
But
John,
with inflation.
John is going to complain about his pay. This is my track number 12. That's the problem here.
You know what's weird, Howard? For 15 years, I've been paid literally nothing. So suddenly I'm
literally nothing.
You know what? Because every weekend I'm out on. I'm not blaming you for it, but I'm saying suddenly I'm gonna.
Maybe you would have. Maybe he would have. So maybe he would have seen you.
And I've talked to Mel 2 years ago. I've had a long conversation begging.
All right, but the point is, why wouldn't you come and say to anyone?
I still made nothing.
Why wouldn't you come to someone and say you got another job offer?
Right. That's what it would have taken for you guys to pay me.
Yeah.
That's what it takes in any business.
That's the way it is. You got to use things to your advantage.
Yeah. So John's not understanding this at all. He has no value as Stuttering John Melendez. That's all he is.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay him the bare minimum to keep him there.
That's an overinflated sense of self-worth.
Correct. So now he's going, well, they offered me more money, so obviously you guys were underpaying me. Not so fast. That's not what that means at all. You were always worth $80,000 a year, John.
If that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is where Tom Giussano chimes in. This is my track number 13.
Well, I mean,
do you think I get paid here? I get paid because Mel's afraid that someone else is going to make me a better money offer.
Yeah, but Tom didn't believe I can do anything else.
What are you talking about?
But
Even when I told him I got the job, he's like, "No way! Like, get out of here, you!"
Everybody said that.
Show, right?
Well, John, you can't do anything else. What are you doing? You're being the stuttering announcer.
All right, so then
you can't do anything else. You're the Stuttering John.
Yes.
It's like the speech I gave Opie
Yes.
during the great grape debate. You can't do anything. I could do plenty of things. What?
What are you gonna do?
I had no idea. I go spin records. Go to Rochester and spin fucking records.
If Opie would have said be a stuttering announcer, that would have been a funny clip.
Yeah.
That would have been a good comeback for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, did not. All right.
Here's Jay Leno. Are you a boner guy? Works.
What are you a boner
talking about? Jay, cheers.
All right. So this is where it gets funny. Because now Howard asks John if he thinks The Tonight Show is a funny show.
Oh.
Because at this time with Jay Leno,
not so
much. Track 14 on there.
Okay, is Jay Leno's Tonight Show funny?
Yeah.
Better say that.
Yeah, that is high-pitch Opie answer right there. Yeah, that's great.
The higher the voice, the bigger the lie.
Yeah, correct. Yes. So then a caller calls in and wants to know if things don't work out with Leno, but of course they will. But if things don't, would Howard hire him back? And listen how quickly Howard answers this question.
Oh, yeah.
If Stuttering John, if it doesn't work out between him and Jay Leno, let's say in 6 months, and he gets rid of him, will you rehire him?
No.
Before the hymn came out. No. Howard's very he doesn't take that shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you
he wants
fucking
loyalty.
leave, like Jackie, when Jackie left, Jackie was persona non grata.
Of course.
Dead.
Of course.
To him. So, yeah.
I don't hear them talk about Shuley very often on the show these days either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if this doesn't work out, Shuley, you're going to be back with Howard? No.
Once you're off the show, you're off the show. All right, so then this gets very funny because they want to ask John if Leno is funnier than Letterman.
Oh.
So
Who's funnier, Letterman or Leno, John?
Leno. I hate Letterman.
Oh, Leonard. John.
Wrong.
Not even
Hold on a second. I swear to God, may I die right now.
Funnier.
And he's been working on killing himself for 30 years, so I guess.
I mean, every single person there was just like, "Oh, how could you say you're losing the threat here, John? What are you talking about?"
yeah.
Nobody thinks that that's true. So now, Tom is going to explain to John that he was paid what he was worth, and believe it or not, John's still not getting it. I'm shocked by this.
There's a concept called value of the market. Stocks are worth something because people are willing to pay that for
That's
them.
right.
If somebody's
He's
willing
right.
to pay more,
And
then they bid the
You'll
price
pay
up.
everybody nothing until somebody else.
No, he
I'm
doesn't
willing to
pay
pay what the
everybody.
market,
I know
what the
you're-
market dictates for
Yeah,
somebody.
I know you're insulted that you would want Tom to give you the money rather than have to give you the money, but how do you care how you get the money?
You know, usually, Gary, in a lot of companies, when you do a good job,
Of course,
freaking
but
boss
not,
pays
but
you.
not always.
About other companies.
You never worked for another company.
What are you, Firestone, when you drove the truck? That was your job before here.
Oh.
So that Gary nails it right there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
John's explaining how business works, and he has no idea how business works.
It's the only job he ever had.
Why are they just throwing more money at me? Because we don't need to. That's why we're not throwing more money at you, John.
The most interesting part of that clip is that Howard and Tom Chiusano only agreed on one thing in their entire career together: how much John sucks.
Yes,
Like,
correct.
every time, and Howard's actually going, "Yeah, look, Tom's right." What?
Yeah, I know.
If you were a fan, you knew they
Yeah.
never agreed on shit. And he did call him Tom Chiusano
Yep.
and all that shit. And it's like, oh, John sucks? Oh, yeah.
Well, they had
Common ground.
They had the dump button. That was a whole
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
problem
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And yeah, all of a
Everything
sudden they're
was a problem.
besties when they're talking about Stuttering John getting paid
Everything.
nothing. They're high-fiving
I
over
just heard
there.
it the other day. It was Tom Chiusano gave a read to Howard to promote Wings when John was a guest star on the show Wings. And Howard didn't want to talk about it. And they called him up and said, "Why aren't you talking about Stuttering John on Wings?" He goes, "I'm not going to talk about it."
Yeah.
So the Wings bought time on K-Rock for live reads that Howard had to read, and he didn't read them.
Yeah.
And Chiusano came in yelling at him, "You got to read it. They paid for it." He goes, "No, fire me. Fuck you. I'm not doing this." That's how much he hated John.
Yes.
And what John was doing.
Well, it also proves that the only reason why John was on that show, or any of the shows he was
Of
on,
course.
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Wings, whatever he was doing, is so that Howard would talk about
They
it.
wanted Howard to talk about
And these idiots never figured that out, even though Howard told them that multiple times.
I'm never talking about it. If you get John. It's
These
just
idiots
not gonna
never
happen.
figured that out. Like, Eric the actor still thinks that he has acting chops, and that's
Like
why he was going
I
to
think
cameos.
Robin did Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Did she really?
Yeah, and
don't
Howard
remember that.
talked about that because it's Robin.
Yeah.
But he's not going to go out on a limb and put his neck out there for fucking
Did Will Smith
John
slap her in the face?
on Wings. I got a flight. I'm sure he's all stiff too. Oh, can I get a ticket to 2 pickets to Pittsburgh? Hilarious.
All right. But the last clip I have here, a caller calls in and predicts John's fate and nails it.
Is it you?
It wasn't me.
Yo,
It's
John,
tonight.
Callie, the guy you always hang up on. Remember me?
Oh,
You mean the guy I put through about 2,000 times?
Yeah, a few times, but you always hang up. You're the worst phone screener.
Sometimes
You have a
I
life
say
because of Howard, and you're a loser. You're a traitor, and good riddance. And you know what? When you do lose your job with Leno and you sell your house, your whole life will go down the drain.
I don't wish that on
That's
John.
not what
I don't wish it on him, you know what? But that's what it's going to be, because the point is it.
All right.
that was his son, daughter. Terrible.
We'll talk about this later.
Tragic. But kids.
So it's just amazing to me that everybody knew what was going to happen to Stuttering John when he moved out to LA.
Oh, yeah.
He bought the most expensive house. He could barely afford it. At his
Hey,
salary.
Karen, I bought the most expensive tree. We needed that money, Karen.
Exactly. So, of course, he lost his job. He lost the house.
It's
and
a
we
certain
know.
kind of rich my father used to tell me about.
Who are these